It was a stormy evening when a young disciple burst into his master's hut, his face filled with anger and frustration. "Master," he cried, "I can't take it anymore. Everywhere I go, people are cruel, problems surround me, and my life feels cursed. How can anyone stay positive in a world so full of negativity?" The master, an old man with calm eyes that seemed to hold centuries of wisdom, said nothing. He stood up, took a small spoon, and motioned for the disciple to follow. They walked in silence to a small table where a glass of water rested. The master poured a spoonful of salt into it and handed it to the young man. "Drink," he said. The disciple obeyed, took a sip, and immediately grimaced. "It's bitter," he spat. The master nodded, then gestured for him to follow again. They walked down to a large, peaceful lake that mirrored the sky like glass. The master took the same spoon of salt and tossed it into the water. Then he said, "Now, drink from the lake." The disciple knelt, cupped the cool water in his hands, and took a sip. "It's sweet and fresh," he said in surprise. The master looked into his eyes and said softly, "The salt is the pain of life. Everyone gets their share of it. But the taste you experience depends on the size of your heart. Expand yours, and pain will lose its power to embitter you." The young man stood silently, watching the ripples spread across the water. Something shifted inside him that day, a realization that changed the course of his life. Days passed, and the disciple began to see the truth in his master's words. Pain still came. People still disappointed him, challenges still appeared, but he began to notice something. Suffering only stayed when he resisted reality. He realized that being positive did not mean pretending everything was fine. It meant accepting that life wasn't supposed to be easy. It meant choosing to face hardship with an open heart rather than a closed mind. Each time he felt bitterness rise, he would remind himself, "I can't control the salt, but I can choose the size of my pond." And slowly, his world began to change, not because the problems disappeared, but because he stopped shrinking before them. One morning, the disciple woke before sunrise. As he watched the light paint the horizon, he whispered, "Today, I choose to see the good." That became his daily ritual. When something went wrong, instead of asking, "Why me?" he began asking, "What is this teaching me?" When others complained, he stayed quiet and listened. When someone hurt him, he tried to understand rather than retaliate. At first, it felt unnatural, forced even. But over time, that conscious choice to see light in the dark rewired his thinking. He stopped being a prisoner of reaction and became a master of response. He learned that positivity isn't luck, it's training. It's the daily workout of the soul. Weeks later, the disciple returned to the lake. This time, he came not to complain, but to thank. He sat on the shore and thought about all the moments that had once felt unbearable, the betrayals, the failures, the loneliness. Yet now he could see how each one had shaped him, teaching him compassion, patience, and strength. "The small mind reacts," his master had said. "The broad mind understands." As he watched the water shimmer under the setting sun, he realized that his heart had indeed expanded. The same life that once felt bitter now felt beautiful, because he had grown large enough to hold it all. One afternoon, a storm rolled in. Wind howled through the trees, waves crashed violently against the rocks, and thunder shook the sky. The disciple felt fear for a moment, but then he remembered. He sat down on a stone, closed his eyes, and breathed deeply. One breath to release the fear, a second to find balance, a third to remember who he was. When he opened his eyes, the storm was still raging, but inside, he was calm. That's when he finally understood his master's last teaching. You are the lake, not the salt. The waves will keep coming, but peace is found in stillness. Final lesson. Years later, people would come to him, just as he once went to his master, asking, "How can I stay positive in such a negative world?" And he would smile, take them to the same lake, and tell them what he had learned. True positivity is not ignorance of pain. It's the wisdom to see beyond it. It's realizing that everything, good or bad, is a part of the same ocean. When your heart expands, bitterness fades, and even pain becomes a teacher. Then, with a gentle voice, he would add, "A wise mind doesn't run from the storm, it learns to dance with the rain." And in that moment, they too would begin to understand, positivity is not what happens around you, it's what you choose to grow within you.